Welcome back. With us right now, Clark Kent, i.e. Superman. Let's just do this for the sake of just having some fun here. Can we do a split shot here with Nathan real quick? I mean, come on, are you kidding me? I almost made Nathan put glasses on. Look how red you're getting. Put glasses on to do this segment. Honestly, for this whole diversion flaying situation, why don't you just go find a phone booth, throw on a cape, and solve it for all of us?
I wish it'd be that easy.
I want to get your comments on what Mayor Wallaker had to say.
Well, I think he's putting a pretty positive spin on it. This thing's on life support. I mean, if somebody had asked him a year ago, they didn't get any federally funds, he'd have said it's dead, I think. And they received a measly $5 million last year, nothing this year. I don't know how they can get it done.
So walk us through the percent chance of this getting done. Obviously last year everyone's like, oh yeah, this thing's a 75, 80% chance of getting done. Now we're seeing no money in Obama's budget. Are we looking at 50-50, 40-60?
Well, I'd say 80-20, not happening.
Really?
Well, where are they going to get the federal funds? Word is not going to happen.
Whoa, so you're saying that Senator Heitkamp, Senator Hoeven, Kevin Cramer have got no clout?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's no earmarks, and I don't think it'll pass the House. They're basically creating a new agency with the from like an EPA with the Army Corps, and I don't think that the budget hawks, they won't take that in the House. They won't stand for it.
So you worked with Senator Senator Dorgan. What should Senator Heitkamp and Senator Hoeven do to start getting some money?
Well, they know a lot more than I do, and I don't want to give them any hints. But, it's an uphill battle, and there's no money in D.C. Times have changed.
One of the things I want to get your thoughts on, the Senate Appropriations Committee heard HB 1020 today. You heard Mayor Wallaker talk about, hey, we've been leaning on Senator Grinberg to try to move this thing, get some of this wording out, if you will, the amendments. Who are you guys leaning on in the Senate, and are they effective? Well,
obviously Senator Lueck, who's District 25, represents Senator Dotson, Rod 26. They kind of share our district or overlap a little bit, the coverage. Those two we're leaning on. I think a lot of rural legislators, I think they don't like what's happening. They're flooding 50,000 prime acres out. That's a big precedence. The precedence that sending money to Fargo when they don't have federal funds. I mean, the likelihood of federal funds, one thing to be authorized, another thing to be federally funded.
Now, you know the federal game fairly well, again, because of your background. Why didn't President Obama put this in his budget? Was it because of Al Carlson, or what do you think?
Well, I can't answer why President Obama didn't put it in there, but I don't think it has anything to do with Al Carlson. I don't think President Obama and his staff are sitting there in D.C. looking and saying, Al Carlson didn't put this in the budget in North Dakota. I think Al Carlson was spot on, though, by saying, if the feds aren't going to fund this, why should we fund this? Why should we be on the hook and give Fargo and Cass County a blank check if the feds aren't going to participate?
Was Al prophetic? Did Al have an inside beat?
So. I don't know. I don't think he had an inside beat, but I think it was very, he had this crystal ball out.
All right, I want to get your thoughts on this, because obviously one of the things that Denny Wallaker has talked about in the past is, okay, look, if you don't like the diversion, then what's your solution? And I respect him for saying that. So I want to hear from you specifically. So what's your solution? Well,
I think it was last week we testified in front of the subcommittee, Craig Hertzgaard did, and we presented what Fargo has on their website. Basically, their dikes and levees and get them to 42.5 feet. You look at Moorhead. Moorhead's not fighting this thing. They made 35,000 sandbags. Fargo is not even near the same situation. Let's get the dikes, levees up there, and then let's look at the whole picture.
But I mean, Moorhead's obviously different than Fargo. It's a different downtown. It's a different economic engine. So I don't think you're comparing apples to apples there.
Well, but I think they've been a lot more aggressive than Fargo has. I mean, look at Grand Forks, look at Fargo, look at Moorhead. Moorhead's been a lot more aggressive in that protection than Fargo has. Don't build in the floodplain, bottom line. What have they done since 1997? Quit building in the floodplain that God created and build on high ground.
So you're basically saying, hey, just go out there and build permanent dikes, levees, and we're going to call it good at 42.5?
And you can get to that protection. Then look at some retention as well throughout the basin, from Devil's Lake all the way up and down. And I think
Devil's Lake? Those guys are flooded. What do you mean Devil's Lake?
Well, the Cheyenne, along the Cheyenne, along the Wild Rice, along the Red River, let's hold some of that water back.
One of the things I want to ask you is, so everyone's talking about this 42.5 number. Al's talked about it, the money he's allocating, obviously in HB 1020. What's the percent chance that Fargo ends up above 42.5?
I think it's right on a 3% chance. Don't quote me on that, but it's a very small percentage.
So people are saying, hey, let's go invest $2 billion in something that has a 3% chance of happening.
Well, yeah, less than that, because they're protecting themselves to a 500-year basically. But they're playing number games. The Corps has their numbers, the FEMA has their numbers, and they're trying to go with the Corps numbers. FEMA's still a bit lower.
Anything else you want to share?
I think we covered it.
You gonna go find a phone booth? Nathan Berseth, Director, MNDAC Upstream Coalition. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Can we show that shot one more time with Clark? I mean, it's just, at least it's not Clark Griswold, man. I mean, That is, I just, like every time, I just wait for you to throw some glasses on.
Paybacks.
Come on, man. I'm not going to tell them your real nickname then if you're going to go there. So stay with us. We're going to get to your feedback. I want to invite you to join the conversation. Go to our website, 630pov.com. You can see here, you can email us, you can use Twitter, you can text us at that phone number below, and or leave us a voicemail message. We've got a bunch of great feedback coming in. We're coming back to that next. Stay close.